What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing out there? We will be started in 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's get it going. Greetings, everybody. I am Jasier Franklin. That's who I be, Jasier Franklin. I am the founder of Heal PTSD, Post Traumatic Hood Disorders, all of that good stuff. And we deal with hood based traumas. And you are now here with me on Reset Sundays. I want to do first and foremost, I want to ask you if you're here, please like whatever platform you're on, be it Facebook or YouTube, like whatever platform you're on so you can get more of this content and help keep me motivated to keep going with this content. So like the platform that you're on, and then share this video with as many people as you possibly can. All right. Um, Before I start, I like to always start off with a prayer. So please allow me that time. Give me that space for that prayer real quick. Greetings, Ifas Makanjula, Omo Andy. I'm here today giving thanks and praise for this week that I just had. Came through some really trial times, but I made it through. Ifa, I give thanks for those lessons that I learned along the way, because anytime you give me a trial, I know that it is time for me to learn something. So I'm thankful for the lessons and the blessings to come from those lessons. Ifa, I give thanks to everybody who watches this video. I pray that everyone out there is full of peace, healing, harmony, and understanding, and with clarity of their purpose and seeking their purpose unapologetically. Before I pray that you will come into this presentation, it is called Be Selfish to Heal. I pray everybody hears this message, understands that it is important for you to be selfish along your healing journey, because only you can heal you. So, if I pray that this message comes across as received with intent to uplift the person who is receiving and hearing this message, anybody who hears this message now or later on social media somewhere, I pray that they get something from this message that they can take and put into their lives to help them become who they dream to be, and most importantly, what God dreams them to be. I pray humbly, Father, you hear this message and take away any negativity surrounded around it. Remove death, sicknesses, fights, losses, court cases, fears, doubts, contentions, curses, and witchcraft of any kind, Father, that's aimed at heal PTSD and anything that we do. And I pray that we are only here and we will receive the blessings of all array, all the blessings of life, such as good health, finances, good spouses, good children, and victory over all challenges, Ifa. Pray that you hear this message, Ifa, you receive this message and accept all of my prayers and manifest them in real time for myself and others who listen to this broadcast. I give thanks and praise and I say Ashe. Let's go. Now we in. We in full mode now. All right. So what we doing here? First and foremost, like as always, for my newcomers, I want to explain to you exactly what is PTSD. Right. So a lot of people don't know what that is. Again, it stands for post-traumatic hood disorder. That is a phrase I coined years ago. Yes, I did trademark it. Don't try to bite my stuff. But it is trademark. But at the same time, what is PTSD? Let's talk about what that looks like. What is that exactly? So, post traumatic hood disorders are basically, like I said, hood based traumas. When you grow up in the hood, you have a particular set of traumas that you are dealing with that people from outside of the hood, or like I say, between the red lines, outside of the red lines, do not have to deal with. It's particularly and specifically unique to you who grew up in those areas and in that environment. Now, with that being said, these things don't get identified as traumas in our neighborhood, but we do here. All right. At PTHD, we identify them as traumas because if you look at our communities, these traumas are probably at the roots of why these things are in our community. And our goal is to interrupt some of those things. The only way we can interrupt those things is to put the real things that's causing it on the table so that we can see it in 3D. We can't change something we are not willing to identify. Hope that makes sense. So that's what PTHD is, and that's what we do here at Post Traumatic Hood Disorders or healptsd.com. By the way, if you haven't already, go to healptsd.com and like the page, become a member on the website. All right. If you want some more help with anything, do me a favor, go to ptsdmember.com, fill out this little 4-liner, your name, phone number, email, something else, and then click subscribe, and then someone will reach out to you and schedule an appointment with me personally. All right. Maybe you need something help, some understanding on some things that you're dealing with, or maybe you just want to know more about what we do. Please go to ptsdmember.com. All right. Let's get to Reset Sundays now, okay? Reset Sundays. This is why we're here. What are we here to talk about? Well, like we said already, it's time to be selfish, y'all. It is time to be selfish. I'm gonna dive right in. I had a whole thing pretty much made up already that I think I'm going to be able to freestyle most of this. But I want you to know there will be a worksheet and this whole message will be transcribed for you on the website for those who are members. You can download and keep and read at your leisure to help you out with whatever you need to be selfish about, right? It even has a workbook in it. So it's going to be up there on Monday. So be aware, okay? And if you just came in, please do me a favor. Subscribe to whatever platform you're on. Subscribe. Help us to build more content, okay? All right, getting back to this be selfish thing. Be selfish. What does that mean? Well, let me ask you that question real quick. I need you to get a pen for this one, okay? You're going to need a pen and some paper to take notes on this one, I promise you. All right, so if you haven't, take a chance, grab a pen and some paper real quick so you can write down some notes. If you're really serious about healing, we need to talk about what that looks like. So we're going to get into that. All right, so let me ask you a few questions real quick as I normally do to set the stage, break the ice a little bit. So what does being selfish look like to you? What does that mean to you? When you hear a person that's selfish, what do you hear there? See, the majority of us hear something negative, right? But there's two sides to every coin. There's nothing just all negative. There's a positive light side too, right? To that concept. But I want you to think about it. When you first hear the word selfish, what comes to your mind? What pops to the front of your brain to say, this is what it is to me. This is what that means to me. Next, I want you to ask yourself this question. And please write these down. You're going to need them later on. Who told you that choosing yourself was wrong? Sometimes when you choose you, people look at you like you crazy. People look at you like you're selfish, basically, or narcissistic, because you're choosing self-preservation. But who told you that was wrong? What does saving yourself, if being selfish is wrong, then what does saving yourself even look like? Let's talk about that. What does saving yourself even look like? If being selfish is wrong, if being selfish is only one way, what does saving yourself look like? Talk to me, y'all. Let's talk about this. What does saving yourself look like? And I'm telling you, you're going to need a pen and some paper for this one. We're going to be pretty elaborate on this one, this presentation. So you're going to need a pen and some paper for this one. So please take some notes. I'm only here to share information for you guys to be able to utilize and be able to heal, basically. All right. So please do. Share, 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 and share again. All right. Share, share, and share again, and take notes so that you can get the work that you came to get. All right. Now, let's talk about healing real quick because there's so much going on right now about healing. Healing is everywhere. Everybody's talking about healing. Everybody's either healed or in the process of healing, but everybody is talking about healing right now. They're doing sound bowl parties, they're doing everything to be healed right now. Now, let's talk about what that actually looks like, though. What does that actually look like? What does that actually look like to be healed or to be healing? I wish I could talk to some people real quick to hear what you guys' opinions are out there. I wish I can talk to you guys and get your feedback on what that is to you. But at the same time, what does healing look like? Like, does it mean that you're over a thing and you're past a thing and no longer bothers you? Does that mean that you've done the work and it's no longer a part of your spirit? It's no longer a part of your reality? Is that what that means? If you have an answer to that, please put it in whatever platform you're on. Put it in that chat room for me. Like, what does healing actually look like? Have you ever really sat down with that concept to ask yourself, what does healing look like? Am I healed? Have you ever asked yourself these questions? If not, ask yourself this question now. And lastly, this is a very important question. What is your healing gauge? What is your healing gauged upon? Like, what are you using to show if you're healing or not? Like, every test has a way, every test has a way of grading that test to see where you're at with your studies, right? Everything does, right? If your car is in trouble, you have a thing you can put a reader to see what's wrong with it, to see what kind of health it's in. If you go to the doctor, they give you tests. They take your blood pressure. They put the thermometer under your tongue. They do all these things to test your health, right? They take blood. What is your test to know if you're healed from something that you need to heal from? How do you know where you are with it? With that being asked, I'm going to go here real quick. These are some serious areas to let you know where you are in your healing process, okay? Your emotional responses let you know where you are in the healing process. Are you angry with people really quickly regarding things that's similar to what you've gone through? Next, your boundaries. Are you setting boundaries? Do you have boundaries? And how do you respond when people cross those boundaries? I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Stay with me and keep sharing this video, please. Your self-talk. Is the voice in your head more compassionate than critical? Or are you more critical than compassionate? And this is to yourself. Your triggers. Are the same things still triggering you that used to trigger you? But then you just make up this whole alibi about why you're doing it because you come from the hood, you come from Watts, you came from South Central. We don't get down like that. You got all of these alibis as to why that's still a trigger. I know people in my own spiritual walk that still talk that way. They talk like because they come from the ghetto, but they made a decision to change and be in this spiritual walk, that because they're from the ghetto is allowed to still hold space and real estate in this process of their healing. That's not real. If you're the same person still and you're still triggered by the same things, you got some work to do. Your relationships. Are you attracting healthier connections now? Or are you attracting the same things you've already had? That means something else is not healed yet, that you need to be able to vibrate on a different level to be able to bring in other people. But at the same time, you will meet other people, but the part of you that's not healed is accepting the ones who are going to trauma bond with what you haven't healed. Man, this stuff is so crazy. Your habits. Are you breaking cycles or repeating them? These are all gauges and questions you can ask yourself to see where you are in the healing process. All right. And lastly, your peace level. No, this is not the last one. Your peace levels. Do you wake up in survival mode? Are you living in survival mode all the time? Like, you got to really think about this stuff, y'all. And here's my favorite one. My favorite one that most people do not have. I struggled with in the beginning, but I had to humble myself to be able to accomplish this. And most of you will have the same struggles too. Your accountability level. Are you blaming others for the issues that are in your life still? Father, mother, spouse, partner, whatever. The girl next door in the next cubicle at work, like whatever. Are you blaming others still? Are you accountable? Now, I'm glad I put that one last, because without accountability, healing is not possible. If you're not accountable to where you are with this process, healing is not a possibility. You will be in that cycle, and you will stay attracting the same people. You will stay having bad relationships. You will stay with the same bad habits. You will stay with the same triggers. You will stay with the same self-talk against yourself. You will never create boundaries, and your emotional responses will always be the same, because you're not accountable. Once you're accountable, it's exactly that, accountable. Now you have to do something different. And that's the scary part for most people. I told you, y'all, being healed requires you to be selfish, meaning you have to go in. You have to go into self. I hope this is making sense to somebody, because I can't see anything but me talking right now. So I'm going to keep talking. But if you hear me on YouTube, if you hear me on Facebook, please say something in the comment so I can know you're there, and that this recording is actually being recorded, but you're actually getting something from it. I appreciate that, whoever can do that for me. All right, let's get into the meat of the situation, y'all. I want you to think about this real here. Now, this is where you're going to need the pen again, okay? You're going to need the pen again. There's 4 pillars of life that we need, that we all go through. I don't care if you're black, white, brown, red, yellow, whoever you are, whatever nationality you are, wherever you're from. We all go through these 4 pillars of life. We all will experience them at some point. And those things are, got a pen? You ready? Your health. And these things are based upon emotional, mental, physical, and financial health. Spiritual is a good fit, because it ties everything together. But these are the 4 areas that, when I name these 4 right now, these are all associated with these other 4. Okay, emotional, mental, financial, and what was the other one I said? Okay, let's say spiritual. I had a 5th one, but you got me. So the 4 areas that I'm going to name, just add those to that. Okay, so the first one was good health. Our health is always going to be the number one thing that we need to pay attention to, because without health, you can't have anything. And then our wealth, our financial stability. We need that, right? Our relationships. We are human beings. We love relationships. We need relationships to survive. If you don't have a relationship, if you're in solitude, you will go crazy. We are social creatures. So our relationships are important. And then our children. Now, our children are not just out the ones that we gave birth to. Those are definitely our children. But it also includes people you're responsible for. Okay? So if you're at work, you have your supervisor, you own a business, you have employees, like the people that are under you are your children. You got to take care of them properly, like they are your children. If not, your business won't be well. So take those 4 areas, and all 4 of those areas will become your legacy that you leave on this planet, right? Now, you have to, in order to conquer those areas, you have to be mentally stable, emotionally stable, physically stable, financially stable, and then that's the 5th one, spiritually stable. If you are able to master those 5 things in those 4 areas, then you will have a great legacy on this planet, and you're doing well in this world. Trust me. But we're here talking about being selfish to heal. And when you're not healed, those 4 areas will suffer. You will have health issues. You will have a bad diet. You will have financial ups and downs, peaks and valleys. You will have relationship issues, breakups, divorces, arguments, fights, police knocks at the door. Like, you will have some issues in this area. Your children will suffer because they will be repeating what you're doing. Because you haven't healed or began the healing process, they're doomed to do exactly what you're doing because you are the one who gave them the baton of what this life is like. Your DNA is in them, and you haven't done it, so they got to deal with it too. Therefore, that tarnishes your legacy. It either tarnishes your legacy or it builds it up. Hope I'm making sense to some of y'all here, man. I hope I'm making sense at some point here. If I am, please do me a favor. Like I said, please comment on this thing to some degree. Please talk to me. Let me know you're here. Let me know it's making sense. Let me know it's making sense. All right. Let's go further here. Now, I want y'all to, again, if you got a pen, write those down. And if you don't have a membership, get you one to the PTHD website, because this will be transcribed onto the website. All right. I'm actually going off of it right now as we speak. Now, how do you make sure that whatever it is that's in your way from fulfilling those 4 pillars, what do you got to do to make sure that you conquer those things? Now we're about to get into the meat, okay? There's 3 steps to this, all right? Get your pen back out. There's 3 steps to this. You got to first renege, rewire, then reset. No, I'm sorry. Not in that order, okay? I'm going to put it in a different order. You're going to renege, reset, all right? Renege, reset, then rewire. This is what it takes to heal, right? And I'm getting to the selfish part. You got to stay with me. We're getting there. I gotta take you on this journey with me, all right? You're going to renege, reset, and rewire. Let me put it up there so you can see it. So renege, reset, rewire. Now, we know what renege is, right? A person who turns their back on something they once believed in or did, right? Or contracts, whatever. They just didn't fulfill the promise, the prophecy, for whatever reason. They renege. They told me I would do something, but they're not doing it no more. They chose not to. All right? We know what renege is. Now, renege sets it off. But what's the reason why you're reneging is the question. Now let's dig into this real quick. To renege is to break an old contract. This is going to sound really deep to some, confusing and conflicting to others, but this is a necessary evil to talk about. See, you've been living under old contracts and agreements. If you come from the hood, right, there are ways of life that is contracted that you don't even consciously know about, right? You've just been living this way for so long, and everything and everyone around you lives the same way, and it has become your norm. So now you're contracted to these concepts that come from the hood, right? You're contracted to looking good all the time, because people in the hood don't have much. So when we get some things, we got to put everything we have on our bodies so that we can show the world that we got something. That's an old contract. When you come from the hood, you take respect to a whole new level because you haven't been respected much in the hood. So anybody who talks to you, that now gives you a new license to, again, going back to the emotional parts that we spoke about earlier, to inflict anger and temperament on other people who may not even be meaning what you think it means when they speak to you about something or say something to you. Because you're under the old contract, you're going to respond. And I told you before, even in my spiritual practice, people do it all the time. Freaking, I did it. I thought it was a thing. I thought it was a thing because I came from South Central, and this is how I was raised. that I had the right to do the thing I've always known to do until I got set on my butt and I had to be taught something different. It was a hard lesson. In order to renege, you got to turn your back on those old contracts. That should be a t-shirt. Turn your back on old contracts. That's the only way you renege on the other ways, old ways of the old you. See, again, I have this analogy, right? Let me ask you a question. Would you carry a canoe up a mountain? No, you wouldn't, because you don't need it up the mountain. But when you were crossing that river, you needed it. So now you're at this mountain, and this mountain is mountains. It's a mountain. It's huge. Why would I carry this up a mountain and waste all of my energy? I got to preserve my energy and use what I need my energy for. This canoe is no longer necessary. Let it go. Walk up the mountain. Find a rope. Do something that's more constructive. But that's how the hood is. You needed the hood when you were there because that's how you survived. But you never let it go. You're keeping that contract and you're trauma bonded with that contract from the hood and you haven't reneged on it yet. Because when you renege on a hood contract, they call you sellouts. Like you turned your back on everything. No. It's called I want to grow and I want to be different. If you're staying the same, that means you're not changing. If a river stops flowing, it becomes murky. It becomes inhabitable. It has to keep flowing to stay clean. If you're not changing, you're not flowing. You have to do something different. Does this make sense to y'all? If it makes sense, please give me a like or something. Oh, man. I wish I can see you guys' faces right now. So, after you renege, okay, the second one was what? Reset. After you renege on those old contracts, and you're going to piss a lot of people off in that process, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But after you renege on these old contracts, you have to now reset. I want you to think of this like a computer, because your brain is a computer, basically. The concepts of a computer comes from your brain. So your brain is a computer. Now, if we had computers have been around for a long time now. We've all had to come into conflict with a computer that was not acting right. It was glitching, it was pausing, it was shutting down on us, it was doing things that doesn't allow you to do what you need to do with the computer. And then you have to do what? You have to clean the computer, right? Which means you got to deal with the renege process. You got to delete those old things off of your computer so you can have space so that it will stop glitching. Or you have to just completely reset the computer and start fresh. Right? That's the same thing with your mind. So everything you learn in the hood, between the red lines, all those ideologies that you learn in the neighborhood, you cannot get to the next level of your life keeping those things. You must press delete on those things. Then you must reset the computer. Clean slate, start over. Now, I'm not trying to make you do everything that you have ever experienced and start all over with everything, because that is entirely too hard and too much for one person to do. But take one thing at a time. That means you got to go into self deeply and figure out one thing that bothers you the most that you want to change in your life, and then go back to the roots and trace it to where it came from. Renege on it, and then start the reset process on it. And once you reset it, it is now clean slate, like a computer. You can add whatever you want back into it now. Right? I think we've all gone through this process. Best Buy is good at cleaning your computer, right? So I think we've all gone through this process. So if you got some old traumas from the neighborhood, you got some old traumas from your parents, you got some old traumas from dysfunctional relationships, if you got all these old traumas and stuff, you got to go renege on what the thing was, because basically those old things no longer serve you. You got to let them go. You got to delete. And then after you reset this, you reneged, you reset, then you have to rewire. right? Here's where it gets deep. Now that you've made space, you got to install something new, which means however you used to respond and do things before, now you got to have and seek out new things that you can replace that with on this new hard drive. Now, my advice to you is this: before you even choose to renege, start doing the rewire work first. What would you like to see in place of these old things? Find those things before you start this process, because once you get to the rewire process, you're going to need to have something right then and there to replace what you once had. So the rewire part is going to give you a chance to have new pathways and new ways of understanding. If someone pisses you off, do you curse them out? Do you let them know you from Watson? You don't get down like that. You got me messed up. Or do you just say, man, I'm sorry. I'm going to just walk away from this. You take care. Have a good day. Are you willing to risk looking like a punk to your friends? You have to do something different, because that person's energy is still on an old contract. That's why they're testing you. And if you don't pass your test, that means you haven't reneged. You haven't really done the process. All right. You're not healing. Healing is an ing. It's an action. It's movement. It's reality. It's now. It's forever. To be honest. Don't renege if you don't have anything to rewire with. I want you to understand that concept. Please, please, please understand that concept. Research what it is. All right. You truly have to be selfish in this process. You truly have to be selfish in this healing process, because if you are not selfish, let me ask you a question. Who's going to do this work for you? Now, if we're honest, and be honest in this thing, please, with yourself, for yourself, basically. Do you have anything that needs to be healed? Do you have any hood traumas that, if you grew up in the hood, like again, between the red lines, do you have any hood traumas that needs to be healed? Remember the 4 pillars. Research those 4 pillars. Health-wise, do I have a good diet? Did my mother or grandmother pass away from eating bad? Do I work out? Am I active? Are my thoughts healthy even? Do I think healthy thoughts? Do I speak healthy words? Do I take healthy actions? Be honest, y'all. Because just because you've been doing it your whole life doesn't make it right. I want you to understand that. Just because this is what you've been doing your whole life, that doesn't make it correct. Because some things that we've been doing our whole life, we cannot take into the new life. Am I good with money, finances? Or do I go blow it on things that doesn't bring me a residual? Am I good in my relationships or relationship? Am I a good person to be in a relationship with? You got to be honest. Are you ready to give somebody what you desire from them? That's being a good person to be in a relationship with. Are my children straight? Are my employees straight if I'm a business person or a supervisor? Remember, your legacy is at stake here. What you leave on this planet, your footprint is at stake here. Ask yourself these questions, y'all. Ask yourself these questions. Are you willing to renege? Are you willing to walk away from the mindsets and habits that no longer serve you? I want to give you a forewarning, all right? Because if you say yes to this, that means that you're willing to do whatever it takes in order to achieve this goal, correct? You're willing to do whatever it takes to achieve these goals, correct? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you make this choice and this new commitment and this new contract, something comes with that, and it's called sacrifice. What does sacrifice look like, Jasir? Well, let's break that down. I told you before, when you begin to make the choices, you make the choice in your head, I want to change. I want something different in these areas. Any of those 4 pillars that I told you about. I want change. I want to have better relationships. I want to be better with money. I want to be healthier. I want my children to be great. And your focus goes into one of those areas. That means you're doing things differently now. You're not doing things the same old way, the same old contract, right? The sacrifice can look like a certain things. The first sacrifice is you're going to have to be first willing to give those things up, even when you don't want to, even when you feel like it's justified. You're going to have to give those things up, those ideologies, the way you respond to people, the way you speak, the way you think. Remember, your thoughts become your words become your reality. You're going to have to renege on those things. You're not going to be able to be so quick at the tongue over people. You're not going to be able to cut people with your mouth all the time. Or if at all. You're going to sometimes have to just close your mouth and be quiet. Are you willing to do that? One of the biggest sacrifices you will have will be that people will walk out of your life. People you admire, people you love, people you cherish, people you married even. People will walk out of your life. Why? Because you broke their contract. They had a trauma bond contract with you, and you're reneging on the contract. Now imagine you're in business with somebody and you're supposed to do one part of this end of the bargain. He does another one or she does another one. You stop doing your part. What are these people going to do? They're probably going to sue you and end that contract and end that relationship, right? Because they're not getting what you originally agreed to. So you originally agreed to people with this whole hood mindset that you may have, this anger, this tough exterior, all the stuff, all the old contract, whatever it is for you. You agreed to this with them a long time ago. So now that when you're changing and shifting and reneging and resetting and rewiring, they're not going to understand that. They're not going to get that because they're still in the old contract mind. So what they're going to do, they're going to walk away. They're going to label you as weird. They're going to start talking to your friends and family like, you know what is she doing? Like, what the hell? Like, she done lost her mind, or he done lost his mind. Like, they're gonna label you, and they're going to walk away. Are you ready to let people go? There's an old proverb, an African proverb. It says, I'm going to read it real quick. I want to make sure I don't misquote it. It says that one needs to suffer to acquire knowledge and or success. One needs to suffer in order to acquire knowledge, just knowledge alone. Because what does that even look like? Acquiring knowledge, suffering? I got to suffer to get information? Well, yeah, you will. It's going to take some sacrifices of time. It's going to take some sacrifices from things you want to do or hanging out with some people, because you can't do the same things you've been doing and get knowledge at the same time. They will wash each other out. They will be eclipsed by one or the other. If you want true knowledge, you got to really dig in. And then not just getting the knowledge is the thing. The application of the knowledge is the second part. Success requires losing and suffering. Like, imagine you have a business and you have all these employees and stuff. And you don't have no employees. You just starting a business. You're fresh, small business. Just got your LLC yesterday. You got to do everything yourself. Set up the LLC, set up the website, do the marketing, do the campaigning, make the curriculum, whatever it is you do. Make the butters, do whatever it is that you make. You got to do it all yourself. That's suffering because it's going to seem overwhelming at some point. But then you get a chance and get in a position to hire people. Now you know what this job entails. You have the knowledge. Now you know what it entails. So when you hire somebody, you know what to expect from them. And more than that, you are more invested in this thing now that you put so much time into it to learn everything about it you learn. You're not going to walk away from it that fast. You're not going to just file chapter 11 that fast and just walk away. Same thing in relationships. If you put that energy and effort into somebody over years in your relationship and you working on yourself at the same time he's working on himself or you working and she's working on herself, then you're not going to be so willing to walk away from it that fast because you're having an argument or you're having some rocky moments in life. That's not reality. You're not going to do that. Hopefully you won't. Because if you're in your healed and healing mind, you know better. But if you're on the old contract, you're going to let that go because you ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got to deal with that. I know I'm stepping on some toes right now. But this thing truly requires sacrifice, y'all. It really does. The question is, are you ready to sacrifice? Now let's get to the nitty gritty here. Where are we going with all of this is the question, right? Where are we headed with all of this stuff? Well, number one, I need everybody here that has watching this video still. I need you to go here. We're headed here first. I need you to head over to healpthd.com and become a member. I need you to go to PTHD members and fill out the form there. And also, while you're there, take the hood test. How hood are you test? Take that test and get tested and see where you are with it. It's a really good test. And whatever social media platform you're on, subscribe. All right. Now, I don't want to keep going all into this stuff and feel like I'm teaching because I got this all this stuff transcribed out, right? It will be on the website later. But let's get back to the topic at hand and what we're talking about again. Be selfish to heal. Whatever it is you need to heal, you got to be selfish. You got to renege. You got to piss some people off at the same time. And you got to even piss yourself off at times because a part of that process is you will be mad at some things because you're going to want to do some things you used to be able to do. Suffering does not feel good at all. So I just want you to understand, I'm just honest with mine. All right. If it's not pissing you off, then why is it in your life? Because it's there to make you better. The thing just told y'all, you have to suffer to acquire knowledge and success. I'm one of those people that if something is too easy, I question it now. It's probably not for me. But we live in a neighborhood, in a world that we look for the fast buck. We look for the fast thing. We want something quick now. It's microwave world. Like it's totally opposite of what that thing is. That the thing is that you believe it in probably that's probably going to be in opposition to the concepts of the hood. Fast is not good. It's probably not for you. For me, it has to have some hiccups to understand that, okay, here go the challenges. If it's challenging me, that means it's something for me that I need to learn. That's just me, though. That's how I am. I'm not on my old contract anymore. Like, I let that contract go years ago. And to a lot of people, I did lose a lot of people. Right? My circle of influence is very small at this point. Super small. So you're going to lose people. I lost family members and all that stuff, y'all. I did. I didn't lose them. They just dropped off. Everybody's not here for the whole journey with you. I understand that now. But if you're going to get on this journey to healing, you got to be selfish and you got to be willing. And again, like I said in the beginning, selfish is a good thing, man. It's a really good thing. When you decide to be selfish, but you still got to do it with taste. Don't get me wrong. You still got to do it with taste. All right. You got to do it with taste. You can't just say stuff any kind of way to people because you're reneging or you're detoxing, whatever you call it. You got to do stuff with taste. But if you haven't lost anything in this journey and you're healing, if you're a healer, you figure you're healed, I think you might need to question this concept of healing. Healing is not going to feel good, and you're not going to have the same friends the whole time. Again, you may not even keep the same spouse. Because true healing, that person has to truly love you and understand that you mean well to stay with you through this process. Because they're on the same journey with you. Maybe you're doing it together. But if you're doing it separate, it's going to be tough. You're going to have some lapses here in relationships. You're going to have some lapses in with your personality. It's going to be frustrating, but it's going to be necessary. Wish I could take some questions. If you have any questions for me in this for this presentation, please let me know what that would be. Please let me know what you have. I'm gonna try to check and see what we have on Facebook real quick. But I'm only here making this video, y'all, because in order to be healed, and I want to see people, I want to see the hood healed. I really do. I want to see people that come from the hood healed. I want to see all of us healed. But at the same time, we got to be honest with what that looks like. We got to be honest with what that looks like. If we're not being honest with what that looks like, then we're lying to ourselves. I think we all can agree that the communities that we come from is suffering. And you know why it's suffering? Because it's in denial. They think that the way they get down is the way it should be. But I asked you previously, what is your unit of measurement? What are you gauging your healing by? Is it just what you think it is, or something higher than you? Because I guarantee you something higher than you is not going to agree with how you're behaving or how the hood is behaving. It's just not going to agree with it. But it can't get involved with it and help it because the mind of the people think a certain way. I want to give you some insight on something. You can take it or leave it. It's up to you. But remember when I say this, no God can help a fogged, clogged, poisoned, toxic mind. Any mind that's already toxic, no God can help it. No deity can come and intervene. The number one deity that we have on this planet Earth is every human being's mind. We call it Ori. Every person's mind. If that mind is clogged, there's no deity that can get involved to help you. You have to make the changes to renege on old ideas and start moving in a pathway of enlightenment. That way, that God, whatever it is you believe in, can now come in, intervene, and help you. But if you are blocking it, if God came down right now in front of you and said, I'll give you everything you asked for, you need. And if you're still on the old contract, you're going to mess it up. It's kind of like giving someone $1 million that never had nothing. They'll be broke in less than 2 years because they're going to just throw it away. That's how this stuff works. I told you, renege, reset, rewire. But do that in reverse also. Start from rewiring, meaning finding some information that is higher than your experiences and use that as your gauge to make the decisions to renege. If you do it in that process, you're ahead of the game. Don't wait till you get to the rewire process and then start searching. So now what I do? My whole computer is clean. What do I do now? Like, don't wait for that. Start reading books. If you're a Christian, read the Bible more. If you're a Muslim, read the Quran more. If you're an Ifa, study the Odu. Don't just study them, then start applying them to your life every day. Now, when you start applying them, you're going to start reneging by default because the people are going around you. What are you doing different? Why are you so different? They just don't start seeing it. You're not even going to have to do it or make the decision at times. Even while you're reading it and you're starting to apply this stuff, they're going to see a different person and they're not going to agree with it. It's crazy why people do that. But again, it's not because they're on an old contract and you can't blame them. They haven't made a choice to renege. They haven't made a choice to reset. They haven't made a choice to rewire yet. They're okay in the contract that they're in for now. But if you're on two different trajectories, it's hard to meet in the middle. Hey, y'all. Did this make sense to y'all? Did this make any sense to y'all today? I want to let y'all know what's coming up on with us. I want you to save this date, okay? October 4th at Leimert Park, not Leimert Park, at Ladera Park. We're going to have a Hood Summit Festival. We need vendors and we're going to need performers and all that stuff. So if you're a performer, you are a singer, poet, rap, you're going to be on the Check the Rhyme stage. We're going to showcase your talents. I need you to submit everything you have to healpthd@gmail. And then we will contact you and send you the vendors list or send you applications that you need to be the performer. We need vendors. So please, we only have 25 spots for vendors. So please get it in early. We're going to have a vendors meeting coming up in August. If you're on our website and you're a member already, you will be first in line to receive the information to know when that is and to receive a spot. We reserve our spaces for people who are in the organization first, and then we go abroad. So that's why it's important for you to become a member also. Also, Check the Rhyme is one of our programs that we're bringing to LAUSD in the fall. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It is for the youth, ages 13 to 21, where we help the youth to understand how music influences their behaviors and how they can change the trajectory of their lives by just changing their playlists. We will be in a few schools in the fall. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Now, with that being said, bring me back to the stage. Let's talk about this one last time. If you guys have any questions for me, if you have any questions regarding what it takes to complete this process of reneging and resetting and rewiring, I'm open to this conversation to helping others out. But I do need you to subscribe to the website. I do these things on Sundays because I want people to understand what it looks like. What it looks like to be in a process of healing yourself, working on yourself, and getting rid of old ideologies, contracts made in the hood. Again, everything I do is based upon post-traumatic hood disorders. I don't think a lot of people have come to grips with the hood has disorders, dysfunctions even, that are disorders that are normalized now. It is just the way we live. Listen to the music, watch the movies, watch the TV shows that reflect our community, and tell me, if you sit back and see that stuff, would you want your children to do it? Most of us who have a good mind will not want that. If your children are not good enough or not to be doing it, then why should it be done by anyone? Are we being hypocrites because we're not willing to change or renege? It's time to renege, y'all. It's time to let this stuff go. It's time to do something different. It's time to change some stuff. Because if you feel like me, you're tired of what we see going around in our neighborhoods. I'm tired of watching our people in our communities suffering when they don't have to. The reason why our community is in the space that it's in is because people are not reneging and not changing their minds, that is. It's time to get Healmatic, like my shirt says. Thank you, Nas. It's time to get Healmatic and make some changes, y'all. If you're ready to change, if you're ready to do something different, please go to the website and let's get you going. I want to see everybody next Saturday at the next Hood Summit. It's called Real Love. All right. 1 o'clock, Ladera Park. I hope that you can make it. Bring a friend. We're going to have food, fun, conversation, music, all that good stuff, like we always do. And some good understanding and teachings about what it is to find real love. What is real love? What does real love in the neighborhood look like? All right, we're trying to change some stuff. We're trying to get some people together and keep them together and get their minds right so they can find the right person, like all that type of stuff, to be able to find what real love is. Maybe you already have it. That's great for you. But a lot of people don't. So we got to figure out what that looks like for us. We're going to talk about that next Saturday. And my brothers out there, I want to also say that Minergy is starting next Thursday. So if you're a brother in the LA area, you want a safe space to come to unleash your stresses of life and talk some stuff out and share with some good brothers in a safe space, Minergy is coming this Thursday at 6 p.m. at the same place at Ladera Park. Hey, y'all. Hope y'all got something from this. I pray that it helps everyone here. I'm going to close this out with saying, listen, it's okay to be selfish. Being selfish means that you've chosen yourself. You choosing yourself meaning that you're choosing yourself to get closer to your creator. And you're choosing to get closer to your creator to find your purpose. There's over 8 billion people on planet Earth, and everybody has their own individual thumbprint, meaning you're special here. You have something special to do that only your identity can do. Only way you do that is you got to start reneging on things that's blocking you. Letting go of it, removing them from your life, even resetting the computer in between your ears and rewiring it with purpose. Something higher than you, something higher than what you've seen. There's an owner's manual to your life, and only God holds it, the keys to that manual. If you don't open the manual by humbling yourself to be selfish and start healing and reneging on things that don't give you the keys, then you will never get to that owner's manual and you will never figure out what your purpose is. I hope that this makes sense. I hope that this supports someone's healing today. Again, go to the website, become a member. And I hope to see everybody next Saturday at the Hood Summit. Thank you for attending. This has been fun, and more fun. Thank y'all for coming in. Before you leave, say bye. And I'm Josh. Hey, Facebook. Hey, YouTube. Everybody, subscribe. Let's bring up the likes on our page. I need my page to get more likes. I'm getting all kinds of information. Give me some more likes on this page. Subscribe. Great. Let's build it up and get more content coming in. Here every Sunday. I'm Josh Sear with PTHD. Peace. See you all next Saturday or next time. We out.